Teaching the coordinate plane to fifth graders often hits a wall. When the lesson is limited to numbers, empty grids, and ordered pairs on a worksheet, the concepts feel distant and abstract. The solution is Letter on Point, a game where players use a standard deck of cards to plot coordinates, aiming to block opponents and claim territory on a shared grid. To get started, you only need 3 items: a standard deck of playing cards, pencils, and 2 to 3 players. You'll also need to print the materials, specifically this 1 through 9 coordinate plane and the matching tracking sheet. Setting up these physical materials puts students face to face. They debate moves, explain their coordinates aloud, and watch patterns form on the grid, the kind of math talk that makes a concept stick. First, prepare the deck. Go through the cards and pull out all the tens, jacks, queens, and kings. For the remaining cards, the aces will count as a value of 1. Next, separate the cards by suit color. Create 2 distinct face-down draw piles in the center of the table, one for red cards and one for black cards. To decide who goes first, each player draws 1 card. The player with the highest number takes the lead, and then those cards are returned to the deck. Systematically removing those high cards serves a specific purpose. It restricts the number pool to 1 through 9, ensuring players never draw a coordinate that falls off the edge of the printed grid. On a standard turn, a player flips exactly 1 card from the red pile and 1 card from the black pile. These 2 cards create the ordered pair. The red card dictates the horizontal x-axis, and the black card dictates the vertical y-axis. Look closely at the bottom and left edges of the board. The axes are explicitly marked with a red label for x and a black label for y, ensuring students always know which card corresponds to which direction. For example, if player 1, let's call him Vince, draws a red 4 of hearts and a black 3 of spades, his ordered pair is 4, 3. To plot this, Vince moves his pencil right to the 4 on the horizontal red axis, then up to the 3 on the vertical black axis, and writes the letter V at that intersection. Once the initial is written on the grid, the turn is officially over. Tying the physical cards to color-coded axes acts as a natural guardrail. It prevents the most common 5th grade mistake, mixing up the x and y coordinates. The game changes when a drawn coordinate points to a spot that is already occupied. If a player lands on a point they already hold with their own initial, they lose their turn. However, if they land on a point currently held by an opponent, they are allowed to erase the opponent's initial and replace it with their own. For instance, if player 2 draws that same 4, 3 on a later turn, she erases Vince's V and steals the spot by writing her own initial there. These overlap rules force students to think defensively and anticipate probabilities. When a single draw can wipe out a turn or steal a coordinate, students start analyzing the grid for the most protected paths. To score, a player must get 3 of their own initials in an adjacent row. This can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. When 3 initials connect, the player draws a line through them to signify 1 point. You can see an example of that here, where an orange diagonal line connects 3 adjacent I initials. Players must immediately record their earned point on the official score sheet to maintain a clear tally of the lead. Once a point is crossed by a scored line, it is permanently locked. An opponent can no longer steal that spot, even if they draw its exact coordinate. This locking mechanic creates permanent safe zones on the board, rewarding students who use spatial planning to protect their positions. The match concludes only when all cards in both the red and black draw piles have been used. Players then tally their lines, and the player with the highest total on the score sheet is the winner. For beginners, you can simplify the game by using a smaller grid and only playing with cards numbered 1 through 6. For an advanced challenge, require students to explain their strategy aloud using math vocabulary, or expand the board to 4 quadrants to include negative numbers. Grab a deck of cards, print your grids, and see how your students respond. Digital tools have their place, but sitting across from another player and debating a move creates the kind of conversation where math understanding finally clicks.